everybody. This is me, a previous owner of a VW Golf R 2016. This is my new Kia Stinger. I've now owned this car for 1 month, been driving around, got 800 miles on it. I'm ready to give a real, honest owner's review. Not, hey, I'm trying to sell Kias, not, hey, please buy this car, it's so great, be with me. No, I don't care about that. I'm giving you guys what I think you should know that I've learned from owning this car. This is a ceramic silver GT2 rear wheel drive. Not all wheel drive, rear wheel drive. Quick mods is the tint. This is 20, 35 up front. What the most important thing anyone watching this should take away is this car is a grand touring car. This is not a sports car. Listen to me because I'm going to repeat that one more time. It's a grand touring car. Kia wants you to know that. I want you to know that because anyone who's driven sports cars will drive this and say, yeah, it's fast and it's good and it's solid, but it's not a sports car. It dips, it dives, it rolls. It's not the Golf R. The Golf R is a hilariously fun go-kart car that feels planted to the road, glued to it, in fact. This ain't that. Now, this has more power, and you feel that power even though the numbers are almost the same. You feel this power because it's projecting you in the back of the seat, if you know what I mean. Like, the R didn't do that, but the R felt very planted to the road, almost unflappable, so remarkably so. But I'm gonna repeat it one more time. If you've never driven a sports car before, I wish I could be you. If you've come from Lexuses and things like that that are floaty and comfortable, then this will feel like a sports car. But for the rest of us, know if you get the Drive a Stinger or are interested in buying it, that this is not a canyon carving machine in any way, shape, or form, is basically what I'll say about it. Now, the things I really like about the car are the looks. I have been stopped several times in LA, which are Ferraris and Maseratis and Aston Martins, and people stop and want to talk about this car. They don't know what it is, they don't understand it, but they really like it. They can't even place why they like it, but they like it. I've had guys at gas stations come up to me and are like, can I Facebook Live this? This is in LA. This isn't Bumville, Iowa, okay, where this might be the nicest car in the town. This is a Kia in LA. That's cool. I like the look of the car, I like the stance of it. It could be lowered more. As you can see, there's a decent amount of gap right there. But for the most part, it's a very comfortable ride. It's a weird mix between luxury and performance. That's the best thing I could say. It's not luxury. To me, the inside is like a previous generation Audi. Nice, but not compared to the new ones. This is like a previous generation or two behind an Audi. Not bad at all, luxury, but not, not plush. This has got the red leather. And I don't personally care for the round vents. I think they're too prominent up there. I would prefer if this was down lower there and you could put those vents up higher, for all I care. That screen is far away. I'm 6'2", and I have a hard time reaching it for me to be comfortable in my seating position. You have to fully extend your arm. I've noticed a few people have said the same thing when they've driven it too. It's not a deal breaker by any means, but you should know it gets kind of fatiguing, to have to constantly reach your arm around. Other than that though, this is a nice interior. Most people are shocked, and if they aren't coming from Supreme luxury cars, they would call this luxury. Part of it is that the look is luxury more than the actual feel. Some of the buttons I don't particularly love the feel of. For a moment, we'll get in. People love the toggle switches, right? I don't mind them. I'm gonna see if I can get a little closer. There should be a click sound. There should be more feedback with each button push. It's kind of mushy. It's kind of, yeah, I guess I hit it up one. I mean, it's hard to describe, but basically that could have been better. It should have more tactile feedback. Same with the knob selector switch. Feels like a joystick on an N64 that's been worn down. I do not like it. I think it should be clicky, as in how these are clicky, or how this is notchy when you spin it. It's not. And for whatever reason, it's just kind of a mush. You turn right, you turn right, you turn right. That's a pretty big bummer to me, just because I wish that was nicer, because the look is nice. A lot of people have had a hard time getting used to the selector in this car, that I've noticed. And to me, I fit right in. It doesn't matter to me 1 second after driving it. But a lot of people try to shift up into park and forget there's a button. So if you're someone who has a hard time with muscle memory, it's going to take you a little bit, and people getting into the car might roll backwards into reverse. I've noticed that a few times. The sunroof I like. It's big, but at the same time it's not ginormous, but it's big enough to be more than comfortable, where anyone would say, wow, that's a large sunroof. The seats are nice. They're not Lexus, they're not Mercedes, where you kind of sink into them and they kind of cradle you that way. This is not that. They're more firm, that's for sure. You don't necessarily sink into them. They have a nice feel to them, very nice, but there's no squish to them, if that's the proper way to say it. You just don't, sit too deep in them, which is good and bad. I wish it was maybe a tad more. To me, I think Lexus makes some of the best seats. They're very comfortable. They have kind of a foam with them. But this is solid. It's just firm. The back seat obviously has space, and there's plenty of reviews talking about that. The transmission in this car is great. It's not the quickest. It's not a dual clutch like in the Golf R, which I miss. There's definitely periods where I miss that. But at the same time, the power and smoothness of the delivery in this car is way, way better than the Golf R. The Golf R is very notchy, and it's tough to drive in traffic or on the highway or anything like that. It's just, but on a canyon, it's hilariously fun. And on a track, it's amazingly fun. But in traffic and daily driving, a dual clutch it's not smooth. It's not smooth. This is, on the other hand, anyone could pick up and drive and have a wonderful time in it and feel great. So, there's pros and cons with everything, as I'm sure you guys know. That's the important feedback of this review that I wish people would take away from this car. It's not a sports car. It's not trying to be one. Kia is telling you it's not. It's a grand touring car. And I wish I even had a little bit more respect for when they were telling me that when I was buying it. It doesn't mean that it's a bad car. It doesn't mean I don't like it. I really love it. But I wish I had put more emphasis on understanding that and tempering my expectations properly. Like, the difference between comfort and sport mode when it comes to the suspension is maybe 10%. Maybe 10%. It should be 50% or 40%. Something where you actually feel now planted to the road. Instead, sport, by most accounts, is very, very comfortable. And there's still plenty of body roll. It just needs, as a lot of people have said, a Sport Plus mode. And I'm sure they're listening, and I'm sure they will do that. So, if you guys want to hold out. I just think they missed it just a little bit when it came to that. They could have done a tad more and really had something here that would have, this car knocks it out of the park for sure, but not in the scale of people who are looking at sports cars, S5s, S7s, M2s, and it's not that. And there's a certain degree where I understand where they were coming from, trying to tell people that, oh, we're competing against the A5. This is not really fair against the A5. More power, more enjoyable to ride, not quite the luxury or refinement level, but it's kind of a weird mix. It's not an S5 and it's not an A5. So you get a good mix in between, is how I'd like to phrase it. I just wish I had considered that more. And talking to a lot of people, I'm not the only one. It's one of those things where it's a different type of car, and it's kind of a tweener, and that's great because to me I look like I got a poor man's A7. But some people look at it like they got shafted out of a S5 or, you know, S7. So it's one of those things. Other than that, the car is really great, guys. I mean, the look is fantastic. The brakes are great. I love the wheels. I just wish, you know, they'd tighten up the suspension a little bit. I'm sure they will. Like, they know they have a hit here. But this car was very hard to find. For any of you guys looking in Southern California, a rear-wheel drive in this color, in GT2 trim, go ahead, knock yourself out, see if you can find one. I had to buy this in Auburn, Alabama. I'm in the most densely populated state, largest state in the country, and I couldn't find this. It did not exist, and I had to go to Alabama. Shout out to Galpin here, though. Galpin VW in Southern California. Galpin Kia, Galpin Ford. Those guys treated me well. They just couldn't find this car, but it wasn't through lack of trying. I want to say Kia of Auburn was excellent to work with. They don't have pushy sales guys or anything, because shit you not. I tried to get one from Kia of Riverside here. They had this car, was 3,000 miles on it. It was a dealer car. So I asked them, okay, well, how much of a discount are you offering? They said, no, they're not offering a discount. They're asking $3,000 over MSRP for a car that had 3,000 miles on it. So that's how insane some of these dealerships are. It's kind of sad, but look, I was coming from a Golf R, which has its own set of fun games to try and get your hands on one. So, like I said, if I can end this review on something, but this is a tremendous car. It's a tremendous value, but it's not a sports car. But man, is it fun. For the daily driver in you, for the person who just wants to have a good car that's fast, get up and go, this is it. Thanks, guys.